Chances are, if you've been on RuneScape the past few days, you've seen this message, or you've at least heard something about it. What is this announcement Jagex is referring to? Nobody knows for sure, but I think I can make a few guesses as to what it is and what it isn't. In this video, we'll take a look at a few of the theories circulating around the RuneScape community, as well as make a few of my own. Anyway, let's get into the video. So first off, what is this message about? Well, a few days ago, Jagex started sending out messages to both old school and RS3 players, basically saying that this announcement happens in about 7 days. By the time this video is out, it's probably in about 4 or 5 though. We can assume whatever this announcement is, it's going to be pretty big. But as for solid evidence, that's all we know, which is where the theory making comes in. Before we get to what I actually think this is going to be, let's rule out a few other theories I've seen within the community. So first off, because this message was sent to both versions of the game, there's absolutely no way this announcement was exclusively about just one. So don't expect anything like Old School HD or anything to do with Crack the Clue. I've also seen some other people theorize that it's an update to both games like Duo Iron Man or perhaps Team Iron Man. But I seriously doubt this as well. Why would they make such a mysterious message about an extremely small update like that? Especially when Iron Man mode first launched, it didn't get anything like this. If it is an update to both games, it'd have to be pretty huge. So, what is this announcement actually going to be? To answer that question, I've come up with 3 theories going from least likely to most likely. They all have some solid evidence that these things are under development, with number 1 obviously having the most. Although I do believe all 3 of these things are under development, I can't confirm when they're actually supposed to come out, as obviously I wouldn't know that unless I did work for Jagex. So, in my opinion, the third most likely option is a brand new MMO completely separate from RuneScape. Jagex has attempted things like this in the past with things such as Mechscape aka Stellar Dawn, as well as Transformers Universe. But obviously this isn't enough to prove they are working on a new game. This is where Jagex's recent partnership with a company known as Improbable comes into play. For those that don't know, Improbable has developed something called Spatial OS. Basically, it gives developers the ability to make hundreds of game engines work together to make, in their own words, a game that is larger, richer, and with more players than a single one could. This is a very cool idea, but as far as we know, Jagex only plans on using this for future projects. So I doubt this technology is going to come to RuneScape 3 or Old School anytime soon. Even if this isn't the announcement, one thing is for sure, Jagex is working on another MMO. They've had multiple job listings available on their site for a while now, with the category listed under Unannounced MMO. Also, this partnership was only announced in May, which is why I'm a little skeptical as to if it's for the new MMO or not. 2 months seems way too short for them to A, learn this technology, and B, make even an early alpha of an MMO. Although, as you probably know, Jagex does seem to announce their projects quite early, oftentimes months before whatever they announce is available. So the second theory is one I've discussed actually fairly recently, which is Runescape Mobile. Since I've already made a full video about this topic, I won't go as in-depth on it on this video. Anyway, if this topic is interesting to you, the link to the video should be on screen now as well as in the description. So why would the announcement be Runescape Mobile? Well, first Jagex has mentioned multiple times in the past that they wanted to bring both Old School and RS3 to mobile. Over the past few years, they've been collecting surveys from players, and in nearly every single survey, a mobile version of RuneScape has been included in those questions. Other than these surveys, Jagex has said almost nothing about a RuneScape 3 version. It was the same for Old School up until about a year ago. For a few months, there was a lot of discussion about it, and as soon as ModMacK said they were in the early stages of seeing if it was viable, all discussion of it stopped. Jagex moderators just completely ignored the topic. No questions were answered, and even threads that hit the front page of the subreddit were flat out ignored. This seems very unlike Jagex in my opinion. When something is no longer viable or cancelled, they usually announce it publicly in some way, shape, or form. A perfect example of this would be RuneScape Idle Adventures. This also fits the criteria of a huge update that both games could benefit from. It's been about a year since the Old School team first started looking into this, and appear to have also hired a few mobile Java developers along the way. A year should give them plenty of time to develop this app with a good enough team. RS3 has been a bit more secretive about any plans for a mobile app though, so we don't have any sort of timeline for that. Anyway, mobile is a feature the community has wanted for years, and I think it's fairly likely this could be what is announced. Now, the third and final theory is RuneScape Remastered. First, before I explain why, we have to learn a bit about its history. So RuneScape Remastered was originally leaked almost a year ago, along with something called RuneScape RPG Battler. RPG Battler is scheduled for a 2017 release and remastered for 2018. Theoretically, the announcement could be RPG Battler, but we don't know enough about it, and I imagine it wouldn't be this hyped up. Much like how Idle Adventures and Chronicle never got a mysterious in-game announcement, I doubt RPG Battler would either. Anyway, back when Remastered was announced, Mod Balance decided to comment on a Reddit thread about it. Balance mainly said that the projects were in early pre-production phases and couldn't guarantee they'd hit full-scale production. He also later edited his post saying that it would not be RuneScape 4, and it is not designed to replace RuneScape at all. This was all we heard about this project until very recently. Reddit user I'm Rubik posted this comment on July 10th, detailing what Remastered could be. Apparently they obtained this information from a survey that was only provided to a very select few people, and that although Rubik was not given it, they were able to get their hands on it. According to the survey, the game would be focused in the 6th Age. It would be in a far more open and expansive world with the removal of the blocky grid system and the 0.6 second tick system. Also, it would have added height features in a far more 3D world than RuneScape 3. They then used Skyrim as a comparison to this feature. The last feature is interesting though, as the game would allow for offline skill training. A few other features included in this poll are unique PvP interactions, as well as community-oriented markets, cities, and mechanics. But Mod Balance already said that this game wouldn't be replacing the current versions of RuneScape. So the only conclusion I can come to is that either plans have changed, or they're using some of these possible features to throw off people that leaked the poll to the public. Perhaps that unannounced MMO Jagex has been hiring for is RuneScape Remastered. Regardless of what it is, I fairly confidently believe that this is what is going to be announced. It fits in pretty perfectly for a 2018 release in my opinion. It was first privately announced in mid-2016, chances are they had been working on it for, let's say, a year before its full announcement. Now they tease to the public what it's really going to be, and then with a bit more work, it's ready for a release sometime in 2018. Well, to close out this video, remember these are all just theories, so please don't get too excited about any of these. Who knows, maybe you'll wake up to RuneScape on the App Store, or maybe it'll just be Transformers Universe 2. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, leave a like, and leave your thoughts below.